Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Higgs, and it's Wednesday, which means Chip Chirimbes, and we have Matt Fargo in the hole today. Brian Bittler, jury duty. Jury duty. Anybody remember Pauly Shore movie, Jury Duty? Absolutely crazy mid-90s movies like they all are. Anyway, hit the like button here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Give us a follow. Notification bells on so you know when we do all of our free picks daily. A lot of free pick videos. Me, Chip, Doug, Matt, Paul Bovey, and Jim Feiss with our guy Chip on Thursdays and Fridays. We got the live show Monday night, live show on Friday, Football Fridays. So follow here on the YouTube channel. But these are free pick videos. It's free picks, college football, NFL, baseball, soon to be NBA another week. But if you want our premium stuff, head on over to gamblersworld.net where you find us 11 other guys, all the top plays there. 3 738 packages are guaranteed, which means you show a profit over that time, or we credit you back and you jump on board with the same capper. Maybe you want to move on. We use the leaderboard to tell you how we're doing, what we have going on, so you kind of know what the game plan is rolling into, in this case, a nice long weekend of football, because we have football 7 days a week now for the next two months. Unbelievable. We're going to go – I know Matt's is new on a Wednesday for us, but we got to go to Chip because he's been out of service. This is what happens when he buys the half-off egg salad at 7-Eleven. Little food boys in action. Chip, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling much better, thank you, Sean, and I don't recommend it. That's all. It's like, 3-day-old sushi from a 7-Eleven is not good. Just not good for you. I'm telling you right now. But thank you very much for asking, and I feel a lot better, and I'm glad to be back.
Good. And it's, folks, just a joke. He doesn't buy the half-off sushi and egg salad, and neither did I as a fat guy. We do not buy half-off food at the corner store. Not a good idea. Unless we're talking about buying bread for croutons. A couple Italian guys, we're going to talk making your own croutons at home. But enough about the croutons and old sushi. Let's, Matt, how are things? How'd you do last night? I know we did a show yesterday. You see, you had a play-up last night. I don't know how it did. Hopefully it won. How'd you do?
Things are great, Higgsy. Appreciate it. From a non-Italian, homemade croutons, can't beat them. So we'll get off the crouton talk, though. Last night, I had one play. Had a team that scored 3 offensive points and got the cover. Go figure.
Was that Louisiana? It's Kennesaw State?
Kennesaw State, yep. The game started out 2-0. I knew it was going to be ugly, and it was. So I got it plus 10, and, full disclosure, the line ended up going down to 9, even 8.5. So people bet it late, would have got a push or a loss. But, our records are kept on how or what time we put the bets in constantly. So, it goes back and forth. It goes both ways. So got the win. Kennesaw State gave up a return for a touchdown, which was the difference. So, I think it was the right side to begin with. But uglied it up on Degenerate Tuesday and got the dub.
The Degenerate Tuesday play for sure in the Conference USA, I believe, or something. Yeah. Listen, folks, as Matt just alluded to, we like to get down early on games. I mean, Matt probably put that out on Monday, a day ahead of time. The lines come out. It's Wednesday today. You know what? NFL Week 8 lines are out, okay? So if sometimes the lines are different than what we say, it's because we don't wait till game day an hour before kickoff or even sooner before putting our games up. Does not happen here. Speaking of games, I know we're doing 3 college football games today, but we have baseball playoffs. The Yanks are up 2-0. We have 1-1 in this New York Mets-Dodger series. I got to say, now with the format, me and Matt kind of talked about a little yesterday, I like the Mets now. I was kind of leaning towards Dodgers to go 4-1 or something, 4-2. I'm kind of leaning to the Mets to come take the series. I don't know. Chip,
Sean,
New York guy.
It's tough to bet into that karma. I'm telling you right now. I mean, we saw Arizona with it last year and Texas because neither of them actually won their division. And that's the way it seems to be going in baseball right now. But the Mets, every time they step out there, they think they're going to win. And that's 90. Well, I don't say it's 90% of it, but that certainly helps you when you're out there, even when you're trailing in games, when you have confidence that you're going to come back.
Yeah, it's tough to get in front of the team that gets had at this time of year, as you mentioned. Those two teams. We had the Phillies a couple years ago.
Yeah. Chip, Sean and I were talking about that yesterday, that, the Mets are the lowest seed coming to the playoffs in the last 2 years. The National League lowest seeded team has made the World Series. And the Mets just seem destined once again. And I said, they're playing with house money. And right now, they're looking pretty good.
It seems like such a more difficult path for the National League than it is for the Yankees. They only had to play the Central Division or whatever it was, and Cleveland and Kansas City. So I don't know. It looks like the Yankees are a walk-in for the series, but this Dodger Mets series from here on out is going to be very interesting because Walker Buehler hasn't gotten anybody out, and here are the Mets at home, and it's a pick 'em. So you're playing against a team that won the most games in baseball.
Yeah, they were saying that Robert saved Buehler for Game 3 so he could pitch on the road because of his past postseason success. I think he has like a 3.4 ERA, whatever. But the past is the past, man. He's been awful this year.
Oh,
in his
terrible.
First playoff game against the Padres, he got lit up. So
yeah. Well, he's come back from his second Tommy John.
Right.
I mean, he's 30 now. As much as he could have been probably on the way to maybe a Hall of Fame kind of trajectory on that team, getting a lot of wins and strikeouts. At 30, second Tommy Johns, I mean, you got half a year under your belt. I mean, you're just kind of getting into – he's probably just kind of maybe getting into his form right now, if even that.
It's sad what's happened to him because he was something else. I mean, his ball just exploded out. It's a shame. It really is because his career's been derailed for sure.
And on the flip side of that, and then we'll move on to our football games here. You have Cole last night. Here's a guy who missed the first month and a half. Then he was kind of getting to his kind of like a Cole kind of groove. Got in a little jam last night, but did his thing. I don't know. The Yanks, as you mentioned, they had the Royals, which, that Royals stole one there. Cleveland, again, not much offense. Comes back to bite them in the butt with the chips back. Again, Cleveland, not much offense. Bites them in the butt here. Had some opportunities. Couldn't do not much. It was Subway Series, perhaps here. Subway Series.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, Cole did not have his best stuff last night. He got into a few jams. And he worked around it. Holmes came in, he worked around a couple jams, I think, as well. And their bullpen pretty solid. And Cleveland's offense just they don't have enough. I don't think they have enough to win. They have to win all three at home to make it. Right. I mean, they have to. If they lose one of these games, it's over.
Yeah, you think. Again, this is the Cleveland problem the last couple of years. They could churn out pitchers, and this has been going on for a decade now. They churn out starters. The bullpen's always good. Zero offense. It's Jose Ramirez, and then can somebody else get a hit? It's not gonna catapult you over a team like the Yanks, who are gonna have Stanton, Judge, and Soto, who could all go yard, and you could lose a game 3-0 because they hit 3 solo home runs. You're in trouble. So we're looking at 3 Saturday college football games. There are a couple games tonight on Wednesday. I don't know who has games tonight on the panel here or even on the site, but go to gamblersworld.net if you want college football for tonight. I do have Major League Baseball up for tonight. You can go get that at Gamblers World. Same with Matt and Chip. But we're going to start with Matt here. Michigan and Illinois, a little battle in the Big Ten. Illinois surprising, nice record, nice couple wins out of the gate here. Pretty good team. They're a home dog, catching 3. Bye week for Michigan. Illinois kind of escaped them last week, but I know we'll all kind of go to the old look at kind of spot there. Is Illinois for real? Total 43.5 here. Matt Fargo, take it away. Wolverines fighting Illini.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at Michigan here. Illinois 5-1. I think they're still kind of a fraud. They played a pretty easy schedule. The one loss coming against Penn State, which they actually played a pretty decent game in. But last week, they blew a 24-point lead in the third quarter, nearly lost. They benefited from a missed 2-point conversion in overtime. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm still on this team. The number 84 ranked schedule. They allowed 8.7 points per game in non-conference, and now they're allowing over 31 in their 3 Big Ten games. So the defense, their strength of defense is their passing defense. They're number 9 in defensive passing EPA, but Michigan's not going to pass the ball anyways. We know that coming in. So they're going to run the ball. They're going to run down their throats, and I think they can have success doing it because Illinois' run defense is not as good. On the other side, Michigan's defense is not as good as it was last year. They're going through a lot of regression from losing a lot of players, but I don't think Illinois has what it takes. I think the Michigan team will step up. They're coming off a bye, coming off that loss against Washington, which was Washington's ultimate revenge game. So Michigan has the benefit of coming off a bye. So back-to-back road games doesn't matter in this case. So I like Michigan minus the short number on the road to get their season going, getting back on track the right way.
Michigan -3, official Matt Fargo pick here on Wednesday. This game goes Saturday. Michigan -3, official play. Chip, thoughts?
Yeah. Well, Saturday was good for me. Oregon comes in for our mega buck play, our big winner, and Sunday I had my mega buck play, but that was it. Everything else fell short on Sunday. Matt, I'm wondering who's going to play quarterback for Michigan? They really don't have anyone there, and they're going to solely run the ball. I'm sure. I mean, their passing attack is one of the worst in the country. And it's hard to believe that a school that size, that big, with that kind of draw, can't get anyone that can throw the ball. And Michigan doesn't throw the ball. I don't know where to go with this. I really don't, because of the way Illinois gave up all those points last week against Purdue and came back. I'd have to side with Matt here because I really don't have a strong opinion on it. And if he thinks I thought it was kind of surprising that Michigan was even laying 3 in this game. I thought it might have been shorter. So I'm going to back Matt, and I'm going to stay with Michigan myself.
Yeah, I kind of like Michigan here -3 as well. Also, Fegan, a running back, he missed last week's game for Illinois, possibly out again. He's their top running back, which would, kind of not. I want to say maybe help more of an under. I know we saw a crazy scoring game last week, but the fact that Michigan just runs the ball, and Illinois offense, listen, Purdue's, that's a whole nother thing. So we all kind of agree with Michigan here. Official play, Matt, Michigan -3. We're going to move over to the AAC for Chip Chirimbes, the Miami Hurricanes.
Yes.
Boy, playing with fire, my U team. Yeah, I mean, let's go back. They had the Hail Mary, whatever play, touchdown, not a touchdown, out of bounds,
Right.
whatever, against Virginia Tech. Cal, unbelievable comeback, them 35-10 or whatever there. You get the bye week. But are we going to get a typical Cristobal coming in and screwing the pooch, as we like to say here? Miami 5 at Louisville. Coaching edge, I think, goes to Bromir, Louisville. I mean, Miami playing with fire. Did the bye week help them? Are they going to be a little more focused here? Well, they are favored 5.5 at a 60, or 5.5 to chop around in 61.5 with the total.
And I've seen that number. I believe it's going to come down a little bit. Miami has not been impressive, though they're undefeated. Yeah. These two teams, Miami has held the edge in the series. They've won 11-4-1 in the 16 games they've played. Of the last 10 games that Miami's played, they're 8-1-1 to the over. The last 10 games for Louisville, they're 7-3 to the over. In the series, the last 3 meetings have gone over. And there's kind of a unique storyline with this one because Louisville's quarterback and running backs are all former Miami players that have crossed over to the Cardinals. Miami's number 1 in scoring offense in the country at 47 points, averaging 369 yards a game, passing with who? Cam Ward from Washington State a year ago. And I'm just afraid of this number, and Louisville hasn't quite achieved what it was anticipated of them this year, and maybe they're going to rise up here. So I'm looking for this game to go over the total with Miami's offense. The fact that both these teams are over teams, they've gone 15-4 between them in the last 19 games. So I'm going to play the total over.
Over 61.5 makes sense to me. Miami just seems to choke things away. Not a great defense. I mentioned Cristobal. How about 9-17 against the spread since he's taken over here, Miami, in conference play? Matt, thoughts on the U and UL?
Yeah, I think Chip is right. I think the total is the way to go in this one, especially with Cam Ward. He can take the game over as he did against Cal, obviously. So in that regard, I don't think you can play. You can't play Miami in the spot. Cristobal, like you just said, that ATS stat is horrible. And one little nugget that I came across the other day is undefeated top 10 teams this season that are coming off 2 straight ATS or more losses are 3-12 ATS. So they're not in a good spot to begin with. Now they're laying points on the road. Louisville, a big come from behind win last week to snap a 2-game losing streak. So, I think Louisville would be the side play. I'm not going to play either side, but I think if you had to play a side, I think it would be Louisville. But yeah, the over looks to be the spot here because these teams both can put the points up, and Miami's defense is not what it should be at all.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Agree with the official pick here over 61.5, and agree with you, Matt, with Louisville because that's not that it's like it's our Super Bowl type game, but you got a top 5 team coming in. that's kind of beating you, you're going to be excited. They can throw the ball, they can put up points, and you saw Miami again, bunch of points in Cal, bunch of points Virginia Tech. Why can't Louisville score a 30 spot themselves here? Yeah. I think I hate saying things like it sails over the total, but I think both teams getting the 30s here. So for sure. So Chips play official over 61.5 for the video. Michigan -3 for Matt Fargo and his matchup versus Illinois. I got Alabama and Tennessee. The SEC is for me here. Alabama rolls in as a 3-point fave, a total of 56.5. We got a couple quote-unquote ranked teams here, right? A top 10 or near top 10 kind of matchup here, depending on the polls. All right, 7 and 11. Speaking of 7-Eleven and egg salad and sushi, here we go. That's the rankings here, according to our little chart. Alabama the last couple of weeks, we've seen them kind of playing with fire. They got up big against Georgia. Georgia comes back. They trail. They come back, win that game. The Vanderbilt loss. The South Carolina should have maybe been a loss. I mean, a crazy ending to that game. Here comes Tennessee, and I was torn on this way where I was going to go on this one because I'm looking at what do I do here? I was kind of looking at, believe it or not, I was looking at a under here. I was like, maybe it's going to be a low-scoring game, even though Tennessee put up, 71 and 50 and all these scores versus the college teams. Well, let's be honest, they're not good teams. They move into SEC play, and you see from 69, 51, 57, now we're down to 23 points a game. They go to Oklahoma. We had it here, Chip. We did that Oklahoma Tennessee game. It was 25-15, right? So where's the offense go against better defenses? I'm gonna lean. I'm going home dog here. I'm taking Tennessee +3. Do I think Alabama's done? And is it DeBoer's a problem? I don't know if that's the case here, but this is a spot I think Tennessee really has to win. If they think they're going to make a playoff, you got LSU on deck. You got some, Missouri. You have other teams. I don't believe, as much as I kill the playoffs, and I think we'll get like 8 SEC teams because, hey, if you lose to Georgia or Alabama or Texas, it's a good loss. This is, to me, is it sounds stupid, like must win in college football. Tennessee's got a lot to prove here. Last time they played here at home was 52-49 versus Alabama in the series. Otherwise, Alabama's run them out 9 out of the last 10 games here. I just don't, or I can't trust the Alabama defense. I mean, we talked about, Matt actually brought up the fact that ATS teams are 3-12 or whatever they are off failure to cover these ranked teams. And I think that's based on, they'll come out next game, and that was just a bad kind of game. Well, maybe the teams aren't as good as they are, and the parity's kind of equaling out here with players being paid across the board and good guys staying at different schools and stuff like that. I have not seen the Alabama defense gives me any credence that they should be favored on the road, especially in a tough spot where Tennessee has a decent home field. The crowd's going to be pumped. It's still Alabama. Tennessee lackluster, to say the least, in the last few starts. I'm going to take the home dog here +3. The Volunteers a little rocky top. Chip Chirimbes, Tennessee, Miami. Tennessee, Alabama thoughts.
I'll tell you what bothers me about this game. Not only is Alabama 16-1 against this team in the last 17 meetings, but Alabama comes up favored on the road against Tennessee. That I don't quite get this. Tennessee's got the number 4 defense in the country, allowing 49 yards a game. We've had 2 bad showings by Alabama. They lose to Vanderbilt. They get away with their life against South Carolina, and now they come up favored at Tennessee. And you know what bothers me about this, Sean? Sort of the opposite of what you were saying. I don't think there's urgency here because there's going to be teams with 3 losses that are going to qualify for the top 12 and probably out of the SEC. So both these teams have 1 loss. I don't think their mindset is that if they lose this one, they're completely done. Because if the loser here runs out the rest of the way, they're going to have a shot of the top 12 teams in the country, I believe. So That's what bothers me about this whole thing about letting so many teams in. Is like the urgency of this game. If there was only 4 teams left going to the Final Four in college football action, this would be an incredible, intense game on both sides because it would be the entire season.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not so sure. Alabama's defense is 54th, like you said, and Tennessee's is on top, but they're giving up points like crazy. I think the game goes over the total.
Yeah, and that's it. I was looking at it. I was like, do you do the over there the way the way Alabama's played the last 2 weeks, giving up points to Vandy and South Carolina? You could forgive the Georgia team because it's Georgia, but the other two, I don't know. Matt, thoughts? I'm sorry, Chip. Go ahead, Chip.
No, I was going to say, Matt, what do you look at, Matt?
Yeah, I what you said about the playoff format now, how if this game was played last year, it would be huge for both teams. If they lose, they're out. This year, it won't matter. If one of these teams loses, they're still on a track to make it in if they have success the rest of the way. So it's different. The format has taken away. I think we might have touched on this, Sean. That it's taken away the greatness of these early games and how important they are.
Right.
But going forward, these games in November, they're going to be a lot more meaningful. So it kind of goes both ways. And as far as this game goes, you brought up the Alabama defense. It's obviously not the same. And one crazy thing about this is that from 2014 through 2023, Alabama gave up 1 touchdown drive with 16 or more plays. This year, they've given up 3. So this defense can't get off the field at times. And the fact that Tennessee hasn't scored in the first half in their last 2 games is a concern, but I don't think they're going to be intimidated by this defense. They're going to come out strong, I think, at home. They've had horrible success against the Tide in the past. So, yeah, I would lean towards Tennessee here, getting the points at home. And again, going back to that, 3-12 stat where top 10 favorites just aren't getting it done. And they're overpriced because
exactly they're top 10, and they're top 10 teams. So it's kind of like, oh, well, they'll bounce back here.
Right.
After
that game last week, I mean, I wouldn't say they should have lost it, but they easily could have lost it.
You mentioned the defense there with Alabama. I think people underestimated or underthought, however we want to do the right words. I don't have them. What Saban meant to the defense. He's always been a defensive guy. Yeah. So his kind of fingers were on those defenses to, it was always kind of a decent defense, NFL talent all over the joint. And DeBoer's more of an offensive guy. So maybe that's, part of the problem. But again, I'm going to get 3 here. I'm going to take the home dog. And again, with the expanded playoffs, I'm with you. The urgency's gone. So maybe it takes away from, Alabama still maybe in the driver's seat for the SEC championship game because they beat Georgia. But Texas is looming against, I hate the expanded. 12 is too many.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. 6, I'd be happy with 6. 12 is, come on, we're going to have 7.
Even 8 is fair, because you're within the top 10 anyway.
You're going to have 8 of these teams out of the SEC and the Big Ten, right? It's going to be Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon right off the bat.
And UNLV.
Laura, let's do a quick little recap because then we'll talk about maybe Army or Navy making these playoffs for a second. So I'm going Tennessee +3. Matt's got Michigan -3 over Illinois. Chip is going over 61.5, Miami and Louisville. Back to the playoffs. Army Navy on a crash course for the AAC championship game, undefeated, both ranked. They'll play there, and then they play their Commander's Trophy game like the week after. Hopefully one team wins both because otherwise committees are like, oh, you got a loss. You can't be in it. You're from the AAC. Here comes A&M or some team with 3 losses out of, Penn State with 3 losses. Somebody comes in and bumps Army or Navy out instead of them getting in. I'll be very upset. That'll be a rant every day in the show come November, folks. Come December time.
This is the good part of expanding to 12 is you got a shot with Army and Navy, and that'd be great to see.
Right. I think one of them should get in if they're undefeated, no?
Sure, yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't know, though. The schedule's lined up pretty good for both.
Going undefeated, it's very tough.
Yeah, I get it, but it's possible.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah.
This isn't, let's be honest, the AAC is not the Big Ten or SEC or even the ACC, right? I mean, it's a small little conference, right? I mean, the SMU left the AAC to go to the ACC. But if one of them are, go ahead.
Imagine if they both go undefeated and they, face each other in the AAC championship. The loser of that game is going to be hell bent to beat the winning team the next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a cool rivalry and everything, but it's funny that the second game could mean more than the actual AAC championship if it comes down to it. Which is, I would say it's a meaningless game because of tradition, rivalry, and all that stuff. But as far as playoff, criteria goes, it would be more important than the actual AAC championship.
I would love to see them play each other back to back. I think it'd be great.
It'd be awesome.
I think we're going to get it. And if one of them's undefeated, even if one of them has one loss, I think the one loss team should be considered. We're ready to put Boise in there because they're out of Mountain West or something, right? I mean, or Liberty. Why not give one of these guys a shot?
Yep, agree.
I don't know.
The problem is you're not going to get two Group of 5 teams in. It just won't. It unfortunately won't happen.
Yes. No, of course not. But one should get in, though.
Well, one will get in. One's guaranteed to get in. But say Boise, runs the table out west and they win the Mountain West and they're undefeated, so they'll automatically be in probably.
Yes.
Or what if Army Navy runs the table and they're undefeated? Which one gets in? They both should.
Yep. They both should, but they'll probably go Boise because of the running back because he's a little, sexier name and a Heisman guy. He's going to rush. Rush for 180 yards in the second quarter. We sit him after he scores 3 touchdowns, and
But the expanded playoffs make it so if this scenario happens, these two teams should get in. Whereas obviously last year, the years past, they would not. This year they should, and if they don't, it would be a travesty. Absolute travesty.
They'll definitely. I mean, again, the argument will be like, well, these guys played better teams. So, Penn State. Who cares? They got 3 losses. They lost to Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon. They're 3 good teams. Ridiculous.
It's hard to win no matter who you play.
I mean, whatever team's in front of you, you go undefeated. If it's that easy in a crap division, there'd be a lot of undefeated teams. You know what? There's none. It doesn't happen all that much, folks. So, anyway, that's our hype here for an Army Navy, one of the teams to get into the playoffs. Recapping today's free picks. Again, these are our free pick videos. We put them out 5 days a week, lives twice on Monday and Friday. Premium at gamblersworld.net. Matt Fargo, Chip Chirimbes, myself, all of our plays posted there. Daily packages, 3 7:30 packages are guaranteed. We don't win over that time. We credit you back. Get on board again or look at the leaderboard like a normal person would, see who's hot and jump on board. Simple stuff. Matt Fargo likes the Michigan Wolverines -3. Chip Chirimbes, Miami and Louisville over 61.5. I am taking a home dog, Tennessee Volunteers +3. And I think that's a wrap-up here, guys, on Wednesday. Appreciate you guys, as always. Matt, thanks for coming in for Brian today. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Anytime.
Meet Chip, Doug Upstone, NFL Thursday on tap for tomorrow. You don't want to miss out on that. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck. See you tomorrow.